What kind of object could bring victory in battle, strike down a man for a single touch, topple the idol of a rival god, and then vanish from history without a trace? For more than 3,000 years, the Ark of the Covenant has stood at the center of one of history's most enduring mysteries. It was not described as a statue to be worshipped, nor as a relic for display. It was a throne without a visible king, a sacred chest said to mark the very meeting point between heaven and earth. According to the Hebrew scriptures, the ark was constructed in the wilderness during the time of Moses, shortly after the Israelites' departure from Egypt in the 13th century BCE. At Mount Sinai, Moses received detailed instructions for its design. It was to be built from acacia wood, a durable desert timber, and overlaid inside and out with pure gold. Its dimensions were precise, about 1.3 meters long and 0.8 meters wide and high. A gold molding framed its edges, and 4 gold rings were fixed to its corners so that poles could be inserted for carrying it. The ark was never to be touched directly. It was not merely sacred, it was set apart beyond ordinary contact. The most striking feature of the ark was its lid, known in Hebrew as the kaparet, often translated as the mercy seat. Crafted from solid gold, it was crowned by 2 cherubim facing one another, their wings stretched upward and inward, overshadowing the space between them. It was above this space, according to the biblical account in Exodus, that God declared he would meet with Moses and speak to him. Inside the ark were placed the stone tablets of the covenant, the 10 Commandments, inscribed and given at Sinai. These tablets represented the binding agreement between God and Israel, establishing laws that would define their moral, civil, and spiritual life. Later texts also mention a jar of manna and Aaron's staff that budded, symbols of divine provision and chosen leadership. Whether all these items remained inside through every period is uncertain, but the ark's identity was clear. It was the container of covenant. It was the physical reminder that Israel's relationship with their God was structured, commanded, and solemnly sworn. The ark was housed within the tabernacle, a portable sanctuary constructed according to detailed instructions. Within this tent complex, the ark stood behind a thick veil in the innermost chamber known as the Holy of Holies. Only the high priest could enter that space, and only once each year on the Day of Atonement. When the Israelites traveled through the wilderness, the ark went before them. It was carried on the shoulders of Levite priests, using the poles attached to its sides, ensuring no human hand touched it. According to the book of Joshua, when the priests bearing the ark stepped into the waters of the Jordan River, the flow stopped, allowing the people to cross into Canaan. At Jericho, the ark circled the city for 7 days before its walls collapsed. These accounts present the ark not as a talisman, but as a symbol of divine leadership. It marked the belief that Israel's success did not come from military strength alone, but from obedience to the covenant it carried. The ark's history was not one of interrupted triumph. In the 11th century BCE, during a conflict with the Philistines, Israel carried the ark into battle, believing its presence would secure victory. Instead, they suffered defeat, and the ark was captured. The loss was devastating. If the ark represented God's dwelling among his people, its capture raised a terrifying question: had God abandoned them? The Philistines placed the ark in the temple of their god Dagon. According to the biblical narrative, the statue of Dagon was found fallen before the ark, and plagues struck the cities where it was kept. Tumors afflicted the population, and fear spread rapidly. After months of suffering, the Philistines returned the ark to Israel, sending it away with offerings. The episode reinforced a central theme in the narrative. The ark did not grant power to those who possessed it. It remained under the authority of the God it represented. For years, the ark remained in the town of Kiriath Jearim. When David became king and established Jerusalem as his capital around 1000 BCE, he sought to bring the ark into the city. During its transport on a cart, the oxen stumbled, and a man named Uzzah reached out to steady it. According to the account in 2 Samuel, he was struck dead. The event shocked David and halted the procession. The narrative underscores a strict principle embedded in the law. The ark was to be carried by poles, not placed on a cart, and never touched. Months later, David resumed the transfer with careful observance of the prescribed method. The ark entered Jerusalem amid sacrifices and celebration. With its arrival, the city became not only the political heart of Israel, but its spiritual center as well. The ark's most permanent resting place came during the reign of Solomon, David's son. In the mid-10th century BCE, Solomon constructed a grand temple in Jerusalem to replace the portable tabernacle. When the temple was completed, the ark was carried into the inner sanctuary, the Holy of Holies. Massive cherubim carved from olive wood and overlaid with gold spread their wings across the chamber, overshadowing the ark beneath them. According to 1 Kings, when the priests withdrew, a cloud filled the temple, signifying the glory of the Lord. From that moment forward, the ark rested at the center of Israelite worship. Sacrificial rituals, national festivals, and prayers were directed towards the temple, where the ark symbolized the covenant at the core of the nation's identity. In 586 BCE, the Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar II conquered Jerusalem. The temple was looted and burned. The city walls were torn down, and much of the population was exiled to Babylon. The biblical account carefully lists the treasures taken from the temple, yet it does not explicitly mention the ark among them. After this moment, the ark disappears from the historical record. No verified document confirms its destruction, capture, or relocation. Some later Jewish traditions suggest it was hidden before the invasion, possibly in a chamber beneath the Temple Mount. Others speculate it was destroyed in the fire, but the historical evidence remains silent. The most sacred object in Israel's history simply vanishes. When Jewish exiles returned decades later and rebuilt the temple, known as the Second Temple, historical sources indicate that the Holy of Holies stood empty. There was no ark within it. By the time Roman forces destroyed Jerusalem again in 70 CE, the ark had long been absent. Over centuries, claims emerged regarding its location. Ethiopian Christian tradition maintains that the ark resides in the city of Axum, guarded within a church compound. However, no independent archaeological verification supports this claim, and access to the object is restricted. Other theories place it beneath Jerusalem or lost to antiquity. Despite numerous searches and expeditions, no confirmed trace has ever been found. The ark's physical fate remains unknown, but its symbolic power endures. It represented covenant law, divine authority, and sacred presence. It shaped Israelite worship, influenced temple architecture, and defined the spiritual imagination of generations. In Jewish tradition, the ark remains a symbol of God's faithfulness to his covenant. In Christian interpretation, it is often seen as prefiguring later theological themes of divine presence among humanity. Historically, it reflects an ancient Near Eastern culture in which sacred objects marked the dwelling of a deity among a people. Yet the ark was unique in that it contained no idol. It signified an invisible God who could not be represented by carved image, only encountered through covenant. Today, the Ark of the Covenant occupies a space between history and mystery. Archaeology has uncovered temples, inscriptions, and artifacts from the ancient Near East, yet none can be definitively identified as the ark described in Scripture. Scholars analyze texts, theologians interpret symbolism, explorers speculate, but the evidence remains incomplete. Was it hidden to protect it from invasion? Was it destroyed in flames, or does it lie undiscovered beneath layers of earth and stone? What is certain is that for centuries, this gold-covered chest shaped the faith, politics, and destiny of a nation. It stood at the center of worship, at the front of armies, and at the heart of a covenant that defined Israel's identity. And though its physical form may be lost, the question it represents still lingers. What does it mean for the divine to dwell among humanity? That question, more than gold or wood, is the true legacy of the Ark of the Covenant.